A while ago, Ghostcrawler promised us that they would be exploring the universe in a new way. They called it The Tales of Runeterra, which would be a series of cinematics. And they even teased one of them with Shen and Akali. So understandably, you understand how surprised I was when I saw a Demacian cinematic first. They teased one cinematic, but then they showed us the other one. And I say the other one because if you go back and watch Ghostcrawler's speech on the lore in 2020, they teased a screenshot that links to this cinematic. But that's just a tiny detail. There is a better reason why this cinematic is a bit special. No matter what writers say on Reddit or Twitter, only the things that are on Universe are canon. And the good news is that you can find this cinematic at the bottom of Demacia's overview. Which means that yes, this cinematic is canon, unlike the official release trailer for Legends of Runeterra. The description on Universe says, 2 aspiring young warriors sneak into a Demacian training arena, hoping to walk the footsteps of their heroes, Garen Crownguard and Fiora Larroux. So now, let's have a look at what it shows us. At the very beginning, it gives us a new name, Ehrenmount, a place somewhere in Demacia. It is not on the map yet, but despite the place looking quite good and royal, it is most likely not in the capital city, and it is a separate place somewhere in the region. Although you can see Garen and Fiora training here, and both of them are royal warriors who are part of the great city of Demacia. So there is the chance that Ehrenmount could be part of the great city. The capital city of Demacia is quite massive, and it has its own separate places. But if not, this means that Garen and Fiora were sent out on a mission. But that was quite a bit of description for the initial shot of this cinematic, so let's keep going. Here we have 2 kids sneaking into the backstage of the arena. We don't know either of their names, but the boy has proper blue clothing, which makes me think that he comes from a relatively wealthy family. But I love the detail where they gave the boy dirty elbows, because that's usually symbolic for hard-working people. The girl, however, has poorly stitched clothing, either because her family is poor, or because she is training a lot. After all, she has a wooden shoulder pad on her shoulder, which is typical for duelists, because they always stand with one shoulder facing you. But then, as the boy explores the place, he finds a training rig that represents a dragon. You can see the 2 horns on top, kind of, and its 2 wings. But maybe that's just a coincidence, and the kid thinks it represents a dragon. The other option is that this thing looks like a dragon on purpose, perhaps to train the Demacians on how to fight a dragon. But then we see the kid's imagination go wild, and he pretends to be Garen Crownguard, the Might of Demacia. After which we get a shot of Garen Crownguard, although here he looks quite skinny compared to his normal version. This could be just an artistic take, because this entire cinematic has its own style. Or there is the tiny chance that this could be happening in the past, because not only does Garen look younger here, he also doesn't have his Crownguard badge on his scarf, which he does have in the present days. Either way, this is happening in the kid's head, because remember, he is attacking a training rig that looks like a dragon. But then he gets smacked on the ground, and the girl even mocked him that he's spinning the wrong way. By which she means that his technique is wrong, not that he would be spinning the other way. Because if you replay what happened, you can see Garen spinning counterclockwise, which is how he normally spins. But then the girl picks up a weapon, and it is revealed that she is indeed training to be a duelist. But the funny thing is that she has the shoulder armor on the wrong shoulder. You are meant to be protecting yourself from the side you are attacking with. And as the scene transitions into Fiora, whom the girl looks up to, you can see that Fiora also has a shoulder guard on her left shoulder, despite her holding her blade in her right hand. But the difference here is that Fiora's entire right arm is armored. So maybe the girl is wearing the shoulder pad just to imitate Fiora's decorations, and she doesn't have a practical use for it. And again, remember that this is happening in the kid's head. So when Fiora gets hit by the dragon's claw, it turns out it was a punching bag. But then the boy comes back for another hit, and we can see Garen attacking the dragon again. If you slow the video down, you can see that Garen only scraped the scales of the dragon. That's why he slid down and fell into this heroic pose. So it seems like the Demacian steel can't penetrate the dragon scales. But then we see that Fiora stabbed the dragon in the nose, which seemed to actually hurt it. So although they can't go through the dragon scales, the dragon still has some weak spots. But then, as the 2 kids fail again, the boy says that they were so close to glory, which is a call to the cinematic's name, Before Glory. Now, the name Before Glory could have a couple of meanings. It could mean that these two kids will become famous warriors, and these are their days before glory. Or it could mean that there is one more thing that comes before glory. And that gets explained as Garen and Fiora step in. They found the two kids sneaking into the backstage, and it turns out that Garen is still skinny and without his badge. I still think that this is happening in the present days though. Maybe Garen just doesn't carry his badges when he's outside the capital city. But anyway, Garen asks Fiora if these kids are ready to join the Vanguard, which means that regardless of when this is taking place, Garen was already accepted into the Dauntless Vanguard, and he's acting out to be the one who's recruiting more soldiers. But then Fiora explains that seeking glory only goes so far, which should make you curious, because now the kids are not fighting the imaginary dragon anymore, so this is actually a foreshadowing of the upcoming reveal. In fact, there is a cool detail in this callback. Remember how Fiora stabbed the dragon in the nose? Well, here Fiora figured out that it is a weak spot, so you can actually see Fiora stab at the nose again, although here she missed. Anyway, Fiora explains to the kids that true Demacians don't seek glory, they seek excellence. Therefore, although it is not said that way directly, excellence comes before glory. That could be one of the reasons for the name. Anyway, as the fight goes on, it is not really revealed what happens next. We don't know if Garen and Fiora slay the dragon, or if the dragon escapes. But then, when Fiora is done explaining, we can hear the dragon in the background, and our two heroes leave. And here we have a peculiar shot. First of all, you can see that the bridge here has Galio's wings. That is a standard Demacian imagery now, because Galio is quite iconic for the entire region, and he has very similar wings himself. But also, this is the only hint for us as to where this place is. Again, this is supposed to be taking place in Ehrenmount, which could be a separate city, or it could be part of the capital city. We simply don't know. But looking at the left here, considering that Demacia doesn't have a sea, and it only has rivers, I assume that this is actually the ocean, so we are somewhere on the coast to the west. However, on the right side you can see mountains, and on the left side in the distance, you can see what seems to be some frozen wastes. It could also be just clouds, but I hope it's not. Because this specific view would fit the capital city of Demacia, with the mountains on the right and Freljord on the left. What's even more peculiar is that if you look into the book, Realms of Runeterra, the map of the capital city shows a bridge that is very similar to this one. So maybe Ehrenmount is actually the name for the port city of Demacia, because in the book the port is simply called the port. There was no special name for it. But then, considering that a dragon steps in, revealing that what the kids imagined is about to get real, I am not sure if this is the capital city of Demacia, because a dragon there would be quite rare. Which also brings up the question, why would a dragon attack Demacia? We know that Shyvana is hiding somewhere in Demacia. Only Jarvan knows about her, and she is there because she had no place to go. She saved Jarvan from Noxians, which is how she got his trust, but at the same time, Jarvan helped Shyvana slay her mother, because her mother saw her as an abomination, because Shyvana is half human and half dragon. For your information, Shyvana's mother's name was Yiva. So I wonder if this dragon is actually another dragon from Yiva's brood. Maybe it is one of Shyvana's brothers. But again, because there is a dragon in Demacia, I don't think this is the capital city, and I think that this is closer to the Argent Mountains, which is where Jarvan fought Yiva, and which is where dragons would be a bit more common. However, remember how I mentioned that there is a chance that the Garen we saw was young Garen, and that this would be in the past? I don't think that's the case. Because if a dragon attacked Demacia, and especially the capital city, the Demacians themselves would probably talk about it. Because dragons are quite unusual, and especially elemental dragons, which is the obsidian drake we saw here. Elemental dragons are supposed to be almost exclusive to Ishtal, so suddenly this entire cinematic is getting suspicious. And I think that this cinematic is actually a setup for a story that is going to come. I think that the reason why Shyvana didn't get any story, despite Silas pushing Demacia forward, is because there is another story about Shyvana coming. And I think that this is the prequel. Or rather, I hope, because right now, out of all Demacians, Shyvana is always getting the short end of the stick. And for once in her life, I would love to see her turning into a fleshed out character. But unfortunately, that's where the cinematic ends, so we don't have any more information. And considering the fact that not only is Piltover getting its own cinematic story, but we also know that the Ionian cinematic is coming, simply said, I don't think that the Demacian story will go forward now. With Silas, they already had enough. I think some other regions should get more story now. Especially the one that Silas linked to Demacia. There are some unfinished characters there.
30 seconds left.
Behold our Lord and Savior, Scuttlecrab! Oh my god, this is the best thing here. Oh my god, this is what I was saying before. Oh my god, no. Oh my god, no!